Hey, this is Doug.
I'm Greg.
And this is Mike.
And you're listening to the It's Funny, That Makes It Okay podcast. And we hope you enjoy the show. Here we go. Hey, thanks for tuning in. This is the It's Funny, That Makes It Okay podcast. I'm Doug.
I am Greg.
And this is Mike.
For those of you who just tuned in, I'm the Gen Xer. Greg is our baby boomer. And Mike,
The millennial.
the millennial.
Mike the Millennial.
Mike
Yes.
the
He's got a big
millennial.
M on his shirt.
He
That's
does.
nice.
Yeah.
He does.
It's like
All
a
right.
super- it's like
I
a
get confused
superpower.
sometimes, so I just want to make sure.
Well, and it's nice because it can be Mike or millennial.
Yeah.
So either way, you're golden.
Of course, if he's confused and he needs to look down at it, it's probably a W.
It is a W.
Yeah. Then he's a winner.
Ooh.
There we go.
Because you know how millennials are always need to be made felt like that they're doing really well. They're the winner. There's nothing ever bad. I'm just kidding, Mike.
I'm not totally that Gen Z. But
Although we do have to give him a participation trophy after every podcast. But
I've got a shelf full of them back
a
home.
room now
Yeah.
at this stage.
Well, he leaves occasionally to go to a safe space over here,
he,
too.
he does, but that's fine.
When we get on a heavy topic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, let's get right into it here. I think Greg's got a thing. I've got one thing. And then we're going to do a couple Would You Rathers. We haven't done those in a little while. So I got a couple of those. And I got a story about an elephant. We're going to talk about the heat since everybody is right in the middle of it right now.
Yeah, I got some heavy heat going on.
Heavy heat. And then Mike's got a couple stories about a car accident or something, maybe. And then some unusual sexiness coming out of Sweden.
Very unusual.
And it's not the Swedish bikini team.
No, it's not.
And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, that was a huge thing for whatever reason in the 80s.
It was.
Swedish bikini team. So, all right, well, let's start right in.
All right. Well, and this is stupid, but I was driving to work.
Unlike the rest of our
I know
podcast
these
stuff, which is
observations,
very heavy.
but I was driving to work yesterday, and I was coming kind of around the back road in, and as I was driving up through East Peoria, there was this lady walking towards me on the sidewalk as I was driving up the road. And then, as I got about, she got about halfway to me, she did that thing, I don't know if you've ever done, where she tripped on the crack in the sidewalk. And then it's like she turned around and gave the crack an evil look, like, stupid crack. Have you ever done stuff like that where you've done something stupid and then you want to blame it on whatever the object was
That's most of my life.
Well, yeah.
I look at where I'm at. I look at my bank account. Stupid,
look at the bank. It's your fault.
stupid credit card. Why did you jump into my wallet and make me spend it on stuff?
It's like when you bang your funny bone on something. You always want to turn around and pummel whatever the
Yes, you do.
inanimate object is
Yes,
that you just
you
tripped
do.
on. But it was just funny to watch her. It's like she did, it was the crack's fault that she tripped.
Yeah, or it's like some tool that's not working, how you want it to, or like some user error. It's like
Tools are the worst.
Yeah.
I don't know if I shared on here. I had a little Mazda 310 I drove it was a beater. It was such a beater that as I was driving across the parking lot at work one day, the back bumper fell off. So it was a beater. And I was working on the exhaust system. And back then, I didn't have torches or any of that stuff. I'm laying out in the driveway underneath the car, and I've got socket wrenches and sawzalls and that stuff. So I was trying to break loose one of those muffler clamps that had the rusted nut on the end of it. And I've
You
got
could have just said muffler clamp because that's synonymous for
Rust.
rusted.
Yeah, in Illinois.
Rusted nut. There's nothing easy about that.
Sounds like a band name.
Rusted nut. Alternative punk. We went and saw the rusted nut last night.
But yeah, everything in Illinois underneath the car is rusted. So I'm yanking on that nut on that clamp, and the socket slipped off the nut, and the wrench flew around and hit me in the forehead. And I had one of those cartoon knots where somebody could have come and pushed it back in. It was just like raised knot. I'm like,
that's when you want to take the thing and just snap it in half or something and throw it
I'd have
across
just destroyed
yard.
the car at that point.
Yeah.
Just destroyed it. Like, I don't even care. I'll walk to work. I'm done.
Yeah.
then I probably would have hurt myself on something else while I'm trying to destroy the car. But yeah, and I was just thinking about, I remember one time we were walking into the grade school and it was me and, well, it was the whole family, me, Megan, Lori, Courtney, all of us. And we're walking in and at Jefferson School. Yeah, Nick. Yeah. I don't want to leave anybody out.
Well, you left one, so
yeah,
I'm just
I did.
making sure.
Thank you. And
our fans were like, why didn't he talk about Nick? What's wrong with Nick?
What happened?
Nothing
Was he not
happened
there?
to Nick. He was fine.
No, he was there. But we're walking into the school. I think it was for a school carnival or something. And, at Jefferson School, they got the double front doors that pull open like this. Well, as we were walking up, somebody pulled the doors open to hold them up for us. And Megan was in the middle. Well, she didn't see there's a bar between the two doors. And she just, bing, right into the bar. Of course, Megan at that time was like 6, so I don't think she cussed the door out or anything. But she probably gave it a bad look, though.
When I was in 8th grade, the class had a party. Excuse me. And the whole class was invited to this girl's house. Now, I say the whole class. Our class had 13 kids in it. So I went to a very small school. But everybody's invited to the house. I'm like, oh, great. So my mom and dad took and dropped me off. And they had a house that, was up there and they had the door open. The lights was on. I was like, oh, I should run up there. And my mom said something. So I came back. And then when I ran back up there, they had a cement stoop and then the door. And the door was open and the lights were on. I saw people in there. So I thought, oh, okay. I went running. I thought, well, I'm just going to jump over that little stoop and right into the living room. So I jumped over the stoop. Didn't look. They had a full one-piece glass storm door.
Oh.
Like a decorative storm door that was all glass. I just blank. Just like Garfield stuck on the window. Like everybody turned and looked like, you can't recover from that. You're in 8th grade. It's like, it's the first party that having the whole class party, and you're like, oh yeah, here I go, bang! You just stuck. Oh, that's it. You're done. Like it was done. Like,
you're going to hear about that all through high school.
Yeah,
because now
hey,
you know
the kid that read. Yeah, I ran into the glass door. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
My thing was like what you were saying earlier, Greg. I would keep stubbing my toe, like my pinky toe.
Oh yeah.
When Courtney and I got married, we got a new bed and a bigger bed frame, and I was not used to having that in the room, and because it took
you
up a
slept
little
in
bit more space.
your crib until you got married, didn't you? So it was much smaller, and you got that giant bed.
Well, it was so comfy, It's hard to get rid of.
It was.
Yeah, the mobile on top that
I
you can
like
play
the
with.
mobile.
See, I outgrew the mobile though.
I have one still.
And his parents had a monitor.
It's got a picture of a Mustang and all of the recess cups. I smack it, and I look at this.
Yank on it.
But the bed was it was bigger, and it was in a spot of the room where you had been used to like the smaller one before. So I would just walk like normal through the room and hit my toe, my pinky toe, on the foot of the bed every time. And I felt like the dad from A Christmas Story when he's fighting the furnace downstairs. That's what I felt like in my head.
You should got little orange cones and put at the corners.
Yeah.
Or a pool noodle and cut a section off and cut it and then put it on there so that way it's soft.
Or hire a flagger to stand in your room.
We were all out of pool noodles. We were using them for COVID.
Yeah, for COVID. Yeah. Distancing.
Very true.
But yeah, I don't know. When I saw her do that, what's that?
It like forces you. It's like a anger reaction.
It is.
It is. And if you're a person that don't cuss, in your head there are cuss words going, because it's
it's a blinding anger for a second. You're just like, I want to smash something. Just,
because there's not much worse either than stubbing your toe in the middle of the night. And oh my gosh, that hurts.
No, that does hurt.
So anyways, that's really all I had about that. It just was, I don't know. It just made me think about, I was trying to think, okay, what's probably the most embarrassing thing I've done, which there's so many I won't go into them.
Imagine Greg just pointing and laughing at the lady. She's
I pulled over. Yeah. Could you do that again? I want to video it. So anyways, that's all I got with that.
It's like the bully. Who's the bully from The Simpsons?
Yeah.
I should have rolled my window down and did that.
Nelson, I think.
Yeah. All right. Well, I just had kind of an observation, too. I've been driving around and interacting with a lot of different people. I got to thinking.
I don't interact with people.
I don't purposefully. I'm forced to do. No. What career field or job type, I'll say career field, do you think has the most tatted employees, let's say per capita, I'm not talking like pure number, but the percentage of them that work in that career have that. Cause I've noticed, I mean, when we were younger, there was a few people that had tattoos. Bikers, Navy.
Why not Army or Marines? So we both said Navy. It's like the anchor on the forearm.
I don't know why. Or the hula girl. Sometimes you'd see that.
Yeah, the hula girl. Yeah. Not that she was tatted.
Well,
that's
no,
what they had
that's
on
what
their
they
arm.
had. They had a hula girl tatted on their arm. But it would be Navy, like I said, the motorcycle gang, or somebody that was in prison. Every once in a while, you get a rogue person. I don't ever remember seeing women with tattoos.
No.
Ever. I mean, man, I'm trying to even think. I don't know. But nowadays, I mean, there's a lot. Although I feel like it's kind of swung back to that it's not quite as common with a lot of them. It's still very common, but I mean, there for a while, it seemed like everybody was just boom, tatting up completely. But I got to thinking, what do you think? So I would, you got your construction workers. I would say they're at their Carney.
I was thinking mechanic is the one that popped in my head.
Mechanic could be. I'm going to throw one out at you. This is what beauticians. I am telling you, I go get my hair cut.
Mine's not, but
I go get my hair cut, and the gal in there, she's pretty tatted up. And I was looking around, and all the beauticians that were in there today, and I don't mean like they had a tat, like full sleeve of tattoos. I thought, that's where I got to thinking. As a kid, you never would have seen, my hairdresser is like, all tatted up. Just tats up and down both arms, on their back. It's summer, so they're wearing like tank tops. So, you can see the tattoo coming off the back. It's like, man, they're tatted.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not passing judgment or saying one thing or another. I'm just finding I find it kind of curious or interesting that this is, like I said, it used to be, it portrayed a certain vibe, like, this is a bad dude, or somebody that was, I've been around the world.
Yeah.
Traveling man.
I would like
Got a girl in every port. Oh, no.
Speaking of tats, I don't want to take off the subject, but sometimes I would like to talk to some of the different people and find out the meanings of their tats. Because they've got so many of them, and it's like, what's the meaning behind some of these? That'd be kind of interesting, I think.
Well, I know one of my friends who has a couple. They are pretty meaningful to him. He doesn't have sleeves necessarily.
Right.
He's just got a few, but each one is pretty significant to him.
I know a lot of times people do it, on a parent that passed. They'll put some reference to that.
That is actually one of his. He has like the last, like an EKG, that heart monitor of his grandma. The date that she passed on his arm.
And that's fine, but I just had the memories of. I mean, my dad passed. We were very close, but I don't know. I never. But I'm not into tats either. So, and I've noticed too. You don't just get people don't get like a tattoo, because I've got family members, and if they get one, it's like they just start getting.
It opens the door.
Bunch.
It opens the door.
It's
yeah.
like I'm like, I want a tattoo. I was like, no. Then you're going to have 4 or 5.
I didn't want to tell you, but I've got a rose on my ankle.
I don't think that surprises Mike or me, either one.
No, actually, I've got a little man card tattooed on.
So you can't lose it.
Yeah, so I can't lose it. It's permanent. Can't get it punched either, though.
No, you cannot. So, I don't know. I just was looking at that, and I was like, wow, you don't.
Well, it's funny, because like the church we went to previous to the one I'm at now, if anybody had a tattoo, it was well hidden. The church we go to now, it was interesting. When we started going there, it really had an outreach to like motorcyclists and different, it was pretty open to, wherever you're at, and it was just kind of a culture shock for me to go into that, because it was like bald and tattoos everywhere. And, it was just a completely different environment, So like you said, it's not a judgment thing. It's interesting.
Just observation. Like it's just a little different.
You know what would be funny on the flip side of that? If you went to a tattoo parlor and a tattoo artist didn't have tattoos, I'd be like,
yeah. But they're really good with like, I don't like them.
Yeah.
It's permanent. What if I don't want it later on?
Yeah. See, I'm a programmer for my job. Maybe I should get some code programmed on me or something. Some,
Error 404.
Yeah.
Object not set to an instance of. What's that mean?
The worst tattoos ever. Hourglass just spinning. That's it.
One thoughts that I always had too, Greg, kind of along the lines of like asking people what do they mean when people have like the what is that, like the Asian languages
The
or
Chinese
something?
language
Yeah,
or
Chinese
something,
language, like on their arm or wherever. It's like
This
I'm
means-
hoping you knew,
This means
right? Like,
happiness. And I'm just wanting some Asian person to say, actually, that means cat butthole, but whatever.
yeah.
I think I'm going to get some done in Braille. You got to touch them to know what it says.
I don't want people touching me.
Well, I know.
And another thing,
Doug's getting a Reese's.
I might bite it off.
In the middle of his back, a big egg.
A bite
I don't
taken out of
understand the
corner.
back ones either because you don't get to see it. Who's that for?
Everybody else.
Everybody else. Look at my giant Reese's on my back. Of course, as big as I am, it'd be a king size, but still, it's still there. I would do that for $5.2 million. That's just a random number to throw out, but
A random number. That is a pretty random number. Why did you not say 5.1?
just seemed right. I don't know.
Okay.
So, and another thing with the tattoos, it seems like they're like I said, they're very aggressive. And it seems more like with women. Now that's a very sexist thing, and nobody wants to be sexist.
Nobody wants to be.
I feel like I owe it to them. No, but yeah, if they get the one, it's like the 2, 3. My wife has said, "Let's get a tattoo on vacation. We ought to get it." I said, "I am not. If you want to get a tattoo, go ahead. I want us both to have one." I was like, "I am not." I told her, I said, "That's what you get one pretty soon. You get a sleeve." I don't want. If you want a tattoo, get a tattoo. I don't want them. I don't like needles.
Misha come home, half her face is covered.
Well, the neck tattoo. I've never seen so many people with neck and even face tattoos. That was always, when you saw that as a kid, that was like, oh look, there's a Satanist who's probably killed somebody. Now whether or not it was, but that's what you thought. Like, oh,
Yeah.
he probably just murdered someone in the van. And buried their body out in the forest, and now he's in here getting a Polar Pop to cool off.
And maybe door dashing something.
Yeah. Oh, he's a doctor. Oh, I had no idea. So anyway, that's all I had.
Yeah.
This was, different observations.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing.
All right. Well, there's no segue into this next article, so there's a story here. I found this about
What
an
happened to the
elephant.
segues?
It went the way of the dodo. And I will give you a heads up. This is a tragic story. So before, when I'm telling it, you're going to want to make fun of it, but just so you know, I'm not going to ambush you like Greg does with us a lot of times where he'll throw something out. Mike and I start making fun of it, and then he's like, and the little boy died. Like, what, Greg? You got to tell us that. You can't let us make fun of things. Or at least so I know.
Got to capture the
I
moment.
probably still would make fun of it, but I would want to know up front. So this story is it's kind of sad. This woman lived in India on
I've got a tear chambered up.
Maya Murmu. I don't know. Said she went down. She lived in the village of Repel, and she went down to the watering hole.
Did you have to
collect some
rappel
water.
down to the
Maybe
village?
she did. Rapel. It says
Oh.
RAIPAL. In East India, for those of you that are keeping track.
Well, yeah, because I was
so-
thinking it maybe west, but
When an escaped elephant unleashed its anger on her, so the huge creature went and stamped and stomped on her until people finally got the elephant to get away. And they picked her up and they rushed her to the hospital and she died. This elephant just came. She's just getting water. I'm just getting water. I'm going down to the river, going to pull up some water. This elephant came out of nowhere, just stomped the life right out of her. Her family took her. She died. So the family's like, oh, this is awful. So they take her back. They had the funeral. They're giving the last rites. The elephant came back, pulled her body off of the funeral pyre that they had built, threw her up in the air several times, and it says, pulled her off the top of the funeral pyre, trampled her body, threw around and savaged her corpse. What did this woman, did she do something to the elephant?
Well, they say they have a good memory.
They do say that. Maybe she did. Maybe she laughed at it one time when it tripped 20 years ago. And that elephant's like, oh, if I ever get a chance,
I'm going to get you.
Yeah. So I was thinking, we've talked a lot about rampaging monkeys and stuff. If they ever organize the elephants, that could be trouble. Because monkeys, I feel you might have a chance. There's no chance against it. And the elephant isn't just satisfied with killing you, Mike. It's going to come back and disgrace your corpse. It will probably kill your family. It might destroy your home.
Did it hurt anity else at the funeral?
No, they said it came in, went right for her body, pulled it off. They built the big funeral pyre.
Do you think it came out and stood in the line behind people and waited?
I don't think it was waiting for anybody. I think it went right to the front of the line.
Was that all on the same day?
Yeah,
Do you know?
well, it doesn't say. But she went to the hospital. And they said that she wasn't. It doesn't say when it was. It doesn't give me a timeline.
No, even if the funeral was like 2 days later, that's even almost worse.
Yeah.
Like the elephant was just waiting.
Yeah.
I tried to look. There is no timeline. It doesn't say.
I see the elephants looking at obituaries. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Funeral at 1 p.m. Okay. I'm going to be there.
Mason Funeral Home. All right.
Yeah.
Laugh at me again when she threw a peanut at me. I don't know. Like, man, this elephant, that's just insane. I mean, it's bad enough that it killed her, but then it's what is
it?
She must have really damaged her corpse.
Yeah, I mean, God forbid the monkeys ride the elephants. That's not a good combination.
Oh, you team up monkeys and elephants, it's over.
Yeah, we want a shot.
Not looking good.
I mean, you're going to have to pull out nukes, really, at that point. You got to stop them.
We're going to be hoping the robots are here by that point.
Well, yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, because the elephants are going to...
Hopefully the robot won't savage my corpse.
I hope not.
I mean, it'll kill me. It'll probably just zap me. There'll be nothing left.
Well, there might be a robot sniper dog. That sounds much preferable to the elephant.
Yes, to this? I would agree.
What if it was a robot elephant?
I don't know. Maybe they'd be more methodical. This elephant definitely had something going on. He
was holding it.
Well, yeah, and it said it didn't harm anyone else at the funeral or anything. It just went after this woman's body.
Man.
Dragged her off of the funeral pyre, trampled her body once again, threw it around, and savaged her corpse. And then it left. Then it left the scene.
Did it spit on her when you let it?
I don't know. Could have relieved itself on your corpse. This is terrible. I don't know. This elephant, it's they need to put the elephant down. Don't they? I mean,
Good luck with that.
That is
because if you fail, he's coming after you next.
Yeah. You make that count. Yeah, you don't wound it. You just make it mad now if you shoot it. But I couldn't believe that story. I was like,
that's nuts.
This is terrible. So anyway, that's it. I just wanted to get your...
That gives me some thought next time I go to a zoo, not to diss the elephant.
No, I don't even know if I want to go around the elephant. Yeah. I don't want the elephant seeing me. It may take something I did as some kind of disrespect for it. I'm like, hey.
You go to the Peoria Zoo.
It's all good.
He's outside your house that night. It's
hanging
around.
He picks up your scent. He probably smells you.
Yeah.
Greg gets out of his Jeep with his Polar Pop and takes a sip. Oh, it's a nice. Picks up with the truck, just slam, wham.
What did I do? I listened to your podcast. I know you were talking.
Neighbors outside. Stop it. He's already dead. Wham, wham, wham. Just stomping the crap out of you. Yeah. Then leaves. Then it comes back. They're putting you in the ambulance. Comes back, rips you back out there. Wham, wham, wham. Wow.
He's got a temper.
Man.
Yeah, that elephant, not happy. All right. Well, that's all I got with that. All right. Well, I got a couple of would you rathers here. So we are going.
Would you rather get trampled by an elephant?
Yeah, or scratch your face off by a monkey?
Yeah.
That would be a tough one. That would be a very difficult one. Here we go. It says, would you rather live as an animal attraction at an alien zoo or a traveling alien circus? So let's say the UFOs have come down and now our alien overlords have overthrown everything and they've wiped off most of humanity. But there are some of us still around. So they're going to take you and you're either going to be put in the alien zoo
For the other aliens to look at you?
They're going to come by just like a zoo, except it's for the aliens. Or they're going to have the traveling circus where you can be in that as well. So, Mike,
am I going first?
Well, sure. Or you want to talk it out a little bit, or or do you have a thought? Or
in the end, if I can end up anything like that elephant, I might like my chances. But I don't know. So where are we going around Earth on the alien circus, or just around the solar system? Because that might be kind of fun.
I think they'd probably be going around the solar system.
You might see, some interesting stuff.
They got to make their money. They got to take you to where, you're not common.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you might not be real common here because we're saying they've taken over the Earth. There's not a lot of humans left.
Oh.
If I'm in the circus, I'm going to have to be able to do something entertaining to keep the other aliens entertained. I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I can provide that enough to keep me alive. Or if I'm in the zoo, it's like, he's sleeping again. Darn it.
Here's the man with his shower beer.
Yeah. Well, now if I can, I'm all on board for that. I can do that in the zoo or in a circus. It don't matter. Just keep giving me the beers. I'll be fine.
There you go.
You gotta watch those aliens, they'll be probing you like.
Oh, yeah. That's extra.
Yeah.
That's for your the yearly membership.
I after thinking quickly about it, I'm going with the traveling circus. I think there's a better chance that I could escape from that than maybe the zoo, because the zoo's kind of like prison. So I kind of like, okay, I'm out.
But your standard
and plus
of
you're out
be
amongst the, you build up some friendships with the aliens,
Oh, I'm sure they're going to be very friendly.
Well,
very friendly.
Maybe they're friendly aliens after
maybe a little too friendly.
Killed off our society.
After they've probed you 27 times. All you can hope for is that they've got insurance. That will tie in later.
That's right. But no, I'll be the keyboard playing entertainer in the.
And Greg, he can keep it going because it's all tracks.
It's all tracks. I don't have to do anything.
Aliens are booing. Boo! No.
Would they say boo? I mean, they're aliens.
Zorb! This human sucks.
They just make noises. Blah, 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 blah.
He's not really playing. It's the worst circus ever. No, they'd probably put you in the ball of death where they make you ride a motorcycle around or upside down. You're scared of heights. They probably do stuff like that and stick you up there. Look at him screaming. Quit teasing the human.
You just hear the aliens.
Yeah. But you know what? You might have like a alien version of PETA, the human rights.
Yeah.
Free the humans, free range humans. It's not humane to keep them all pent up like
That's
this.
Right.
I think I'd probably take the zoo, honestly. And Greg, if you could escape, you'd probably escape somewhere like on some uninhabitable planet somewhere. As soon as you get out, it'd be like, I don't know.
I'm thinking more optimistic than that.
Okay. Well, that's fair. I feel like the overall standard of living might be a little bit better in an alien zoo.
Maybe.
As opposed to the traveling circus.
It could be.
I don't know.
It could be.
Maybe they treat their animals like crap at the zoo.
They very well
They
could.
might. Or I might be in one of those, the human rights zoos where I get a ton of space, all the shower beer I want. And
are you in the little zoo that's like, out here in some of the farmland where
He's in a petting zoo.
Yeah, a petting zoo.
Come on in, kids. Pet the mic. No. Feed little pellets out of the thing. Look at him eat them.
Mike grabs the whole thing from him. He took them all. He
zapping you.
Hey, but they might be like Reese's or something they feed me
They
with.
might.
So,
They might.
We saw that they like those.
yeah,
Yes, we did.
we heard it from this podcast.
See, I went zoo as well. Now, I had two thoughts on that because if I was younger, the circus might be kind of fun because you're probably going to, like you said, you're going to have to do something. Maybe you can get active and stuff. I've gotten older, it's like, and you're probably going to be by yourself at the circus. I mean, they're going to keep you separated more. Where at the zoo, maybe I have a little habitat, a little recliner. I'll be like the giant bear that and I wave, and then they throw Reese's. People wave. Oh, look, you wave, throw him a Reese's.
TV's on.
And you never know, they put you in there. You might get a female coming into the cage with you. Or it could be a male who's more dominant. I don't know. It could go bad. It could break really bad.
They throw the Rock Johnson in there with you.
Yeah. I don't want to do this.
Oh man.
So I went zoo too for that same reason. I think your lifestyle would be a little better at the zoo. I've seen those circuses that travel around and some of the people there. Like I'm assuming the aliens are going to be the same standard. They're not the zoo quality people.
Yeah, it's like the carny aliens.
They're carny aliens.
I'd have to be giving the little kids rides on their ride. Get in the spaceship.
They're shooting at you with little stun guns. See if you can hit him before he gets to the wall.
I'm like, beam me up.
Oh my gosh. So, yeah. All right. So Greg's going to the circus and Mike and I are stuck at the zoo, but that's all right.
Oh, geez.
Did you have something, Mike? Because you laughed pretty hard there for a minute.
Never mind.
Go ahead.
No, I was just thinking about Greg's comment. Big me up. Yes. I don't know. I want to be probed anywhere but this. Oh, man.
All right. The second thing is kind of animal related. And this was a question I saw out on social media. And I thought, it's kind of interesting. It says, would you rather have to cluck like a chicken whenever you read anything? So you're reading anything.
When you're reading?
Yep. Or crow like a rooster at the end of, after every conversation. So like when you're done with a conversation, not when, if I just talk and say one sentence and then stop and then once, but like when we're all done, I say, well, I'll see you later. You have to kick that out. Or you're going as you're reading. So there you go. You have to cluck like a chicken or crow like a rooster. So I don't know. I can go if you guys
go.
want. This one here to me was a little easier. I'm going to say I would much rather cluck like a chicken simply because I feel like maybe I can kind of control when I read things. Although if things are just popping up, signs, I'm at a movie and all of a sudden the captions or something pops up there, I'm like, it's going to be a little awkward.
Shut up.
But as long as I can avoid conversations, I feel maybe I can control that a little better with the rooster than the chicken clucking. But I don't know. So I went cluck. For that reason, I want to cluck.
You want me to go?
Sure.
I also was leaning towards clucking. Just because, you can get some chickens that it's pretty quiet, honestly, compared to that of a rooster.
For the sake of this, let's say it's loud enough people are going to hear you. Sure. You're not going to be able to cluck. No. And you're going to have to cluck the entire time you're reading. So that's another thing that kind of was a negative for me. Because it's one time with the rooster. No, it's awkward, but it's one time.
Yeah, but then how many, you finish a conversation with one person, you're going to go right back to the...
Or what if you get the person who's doing, you're all done, and then all of a sudden, and another thing. Oh, come on, I just crowed, buddy. We're done.
Yeah. You only get one crow per conversation.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, this is a new conversation.
Yeah. I'm still going to take the clucking, too.
Mike went clucking.
Yeah.
I'm going rooster. Mainly because I read all day at work.
This is true.
Yeah. So I'm going to be at my computer all day.
But maybe people wouldn't leave you alone. Because they're like, what's wrong with Greg? He's weird. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
His throat would be so dry. Like,
yeah, I need water. I can't stop reading. So, and I think I could probably talk to people less. have less conversations.
Yeah.
So I'm going rooster.
All right.
Well, after a few rooster calls, you probably would have less conversation.
He probably would.
Tech support for somebody, they call up. Hey, I'm having a problem with my program.
Yeah,
all right. Well, I want to
Yeah, I think that's good. I like it. All right, so we got 2 cluckers and a crow.
Yes, 2 cluckers and a crow.
That's the headliner for the rusted nut.
Yeah. They were way better back in the 80s. But... All right. Well, let's move along.
All right. Well, I was, we've been going through this kind of heat wave, and I thought that's compelling podcast talk. The heat, weather.
Nobody. Let's have some hot takes because nobody has talked about this topic.
We never talk about the weather.
Nobody ever talks about the weather.
But no, as I was sitting on the couch the other night watching TV, and the news is going crazy with the weather. I mean, when the news starts up at 10 o'clock, first thing they do is jump over to the weather desk to get the latest on the weather. And the guy jumps on and he gives us the latest on the weather. Because 15 minutes later in his normal segment, it's going to be the same. It's not going to change in that 15 minutes, probably, unless you got, a storm or some extenuating circumstance. So they go to the 15 minutes later for his regular segment for him to do the weather, the full weather.
And for the first one, it's usually something pretty benign that's like, well, thanks, Greg, and it's a hot one out there today.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's going to be hot tomorrow and hot for the weekend. We've got a long stretch of hot weather. I'll bring you the complete forecast in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's great. I know it's hot. I'm sweating to death.
So then they do
I'm sitting here in my underwear. Yes, I'm outside, but it's too hot.
So then they do the sports, and then they have another weather recap at the end of the show to recap the other 2 weathers they talked about during the show. It's like, why do we need 3 different weather reports during a half-hour news segment?
They break in his weathercast for an update on the weather.
Yeah.
This just in, more heat.
So now this particular channel, it's our local NBC affiliate, they've started this new thing and they're promoting the daylights out of it. They're doing first alert weather days. So whenever there's a weather event coming up, they're going to block out a day or 3 or whatever's necessary to cover the length of that weather event. So right now it's heat. So we have 3 weather alert days now. They said, well, we're going to extend that to Thursday. So now we got, 3 heat weather days in a row.
Isn't every day a weather day? I mean, we have weather every day, right?
Oh, but this is to let you know that then they're going to try to do it in advance of the weather.
Well, wind is a weather event. Rain is a weather event. Sunshine is a weather event.
Yeah, but they're going to notify us days in advance. We may have 1 or 2 first alert weather days.
We got to make it sound as bad as we possibly can because you need to tune in because you could die.
And
not just you, your children.
There could be elephants out there.
Could be.
Well, and they're talking about this heat and kids. The gal the other night was talking about this, and she goes, so remember, don't leave your pets or even your kids in the car.
I like that. Or even.
Yeah. Make sure those pets are taken care of. As your kids are, that's good too.
Pets are the most important. Get them in first. And if you have time.
Yeah. And then in regards to these first alert weather days, their big add-on is, we're going to let you know as soon as we know. It's like, weren't you doing that before? Or you've been holding back information or
what if they find out at like 3 a.m? Don't let me know.
Oh, they're going to call you. Hey, Thursday, there is a weather alert day. So be ready. Well, what's the alert? It's hot. So I don't know. There's that. And then just when I was looking, we were kind of talking about the weather. So tonight I jumped on, well, it happened to be this same, of course it goes away now. When I looked at it prior to the podcast, we had 3 weather alerts. And I'm like, wow, what's going on? And I tap them, and it's the heat, but they broke it into 3 separate ones. We had some for the southwest counties that lasted till 8 o'clock, and their temperatures were going to be heat index of 100 to 110. Then we had the central counties. They had a different alert. It was also till 8 p.m., but that was for 105 degrees. And then we had the northeast counties, same time, 8 o'clock, but that was for 107 degree heat index. Why didn't they just say around 100 degrees across the whole state? One alert. We don't need 3 different alerts for all these counties.
Greg, now you're making too much sense.
How can we scare you to death if you're not always being alerted of something?
Yeah, I mean, so right now it's funny when I clicked on it now to see it says no weather alerts in effect at this time. So we must not have the, what they call them, weather alert
event
days. They're called first alert weather days. I'm surprised you haven't seen these. I mean, they are like advertising the day.
I don't watch local television really, very rarely.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I do at 10 p.m. I usually watch the news. So this is a new thing we're doing. It's like, really? Is it? I mean, cause you've been saying it's going to be hot all week prior to you having these alert days. So I don't know. It's just amazing to me how obsessed we are with weather.
Well, to play off of that now, I haven't seen those, but when you were telling us about this right before the podcast, I had this pop up, so I took some screenshots. I have the Ring doorbell at my house. Now, you're wondering,
going with this.
What could this possibly have to do with weather?
Yeah, I don't have a Ring, so.
No. I have a Ring doorbell.
I have a Ring.
And while we were doing our little pre-podcast meeting, an alert popped up on my phone.
Uh-oh.
I'm like, oh, what the heck is this?
Got the same one.
Neighborhood alert near Washington. I'm like,
uh-oh.
Sometimes they'll do that, and it'll say something like, cars have been broken into 4 blocks away, or there's a fire, blah, 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 whatever.
Walking through their yard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let's see what that is. I just hit the little notification, and it says, how to beat the summer heat, according to the National Weather Service, extreme heat. And that's it. And I'm like, what is this? So I went ahead and clicked on it. It takes me to the post details. Here's your neighborhood team's notification for your Ring doorbell. How to beat the summer heat. According to the National Weather Service, extreme heat is defined as a period of high heat and humidity with temperatures above 90 degrees for at least 2 to 3 days. Like, why am I getting notified by my doorbell that we are having extreme heat? And then it says,
coming to you live, the Ring doorbell.
in case you didn't know, in extreme heat, your body works extra hard to maintain a normal temperature, which can lead to serious medical conditions. Please remember to stay indoors, find shade when you go outside, and always stay hydrated. And then they give you a little thing. Here's some safety tips up at the top. Limit your outdoor activities. Drink plenty of water. Wear light clothing. Wear sunscreen. Work outdoors early or very late in the day. See, I was going to go home around 3 o'clock and put on my insulated overalls, a work boot, and a stocking cap, and then go jog about 3 miles. And I'm not going to drink anything because I want to try to lose some weight.
Yeah, sweat it out.
You know what this reminds me of? The tips how to save on gas. It's the same kind of a thing here. It's like, yeah, thanks. I never thought of these before.
Yeah, and in the wintertime, it'll say, dress warm. Don't stay outside for prolonged periods of time. Like, yeah, listen. Every year it says it gets hot, it gets cold. When it's hot, drink a lot. Don't stand outside and work in the heat for long periods of time. Try to get in the shade. Cool yourself off. We get it. If you don't know that, I mean, it's kind of on you at this point, right?
Isn't it kind of natural to want to cool off when it's hot?
I can see if, like, after the alien overlords take over their first summer, they wouldn't know this, then they would need this information.
Yeah, while I'm at the circus, I need hydration.
Yeah, dance for us, circus boy.
I'm sweating.
Listen, you don't know about this, but we have extreme heat weather conditions.
See the app? It says.
Yeah. So I don't get it. I don't know why I'm getting that on my.
Well, it's nice your doorbell.
My doorbell.
Did your watch give you any notifications?
Well, I've got that turned off. Well, hang on. Yeah, I've got that turned off on my watch. I don't have it going to my watch for my Because that gets annoying because it tells you.
See, and it's
stuff like
funny.
that.
Just while we're talking just now, I had a alert pop up from the Weather Channel about the COVID virus.
Britney's topless for the heat? Or?
No, it was about the COVID virus, and now it's from the Weather Channel. It's like, so the Weather Channel's not giving me weather information; it's giving me COVID information.
We have a bad COVID front coming in from the south. What? Why?
I don't understand.
Why is the weather doing this? It's topsy-turvy. Everything is backwards. What is happening?
But I've known people who lived, breathed, and died by the Weather Channel. I mean, they would put it on first thing in the morning, and it would be on their TV all day. They would watch all those shows about, and they make such, a storm is going to sweep through the South, and then they'll say this storm's going to affect 50 million people.
That always
really?
does
Is it really going to affect 50 million?
Well, because they just add up the population of the state that's going to go through. It's like, what? I don't think it's affecting all of those people. No. They make it sound like 57 million people are going to be homeless after the storm is done. Like, we may have 3 million casualties. We don't know. Turn in at the top of the hours and on the fives.
Yeah.
Pretty soon they're interrupting the song in the middle of it for your special news bulletin. It's hot still. Thank you. Thank you for much.
Because the weather typically doesn't change that much throughout the day. Yeah, you have a front moving. Like, I think it's supposed to storm tonight. Okay. They said that earlier.
I didn't know that.
Oh. But well,
we better wrap this up then.
I'm surprised you haven't had a Ring doorbell alert about it.
I probably will later.
There's a storm coming.
My mom lives and dies by the Weather Channel, so I'll get texts like, "Hey, there's a storm coming tonight. So what are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm out shopping." You're out? I'm like, "Yeah." Listen, if it gets bad, I will go home or I'll find somewhere to get in. I'm not going to shelter in a cave because we have a chance for storm.
Yeah.
But my mom.
Well, where is it now? Wyoming?
Well, it's nowhere, but they could pop up. Like, well, okay. Well, if it pops up somewhere, I'll look out for it.
Yeah.
Maybe that elephant alert could have been used.
That would be more useful.
Yes, it would.
Because those could just pop up too, apparently.
Warning, angry elephant headed your way. I'm getting out. I'm going to the basement.
Now that is an alert I need.
Yes, it is.
The alien, that could be helpful.
Yes.
Maybe.
If we're going to be wiped out by
A
aliens.
probing alert. That is very
Yes.
helpful. I want all of those going. They're going to my watch. They're going to everywhere.
What would a probing alert look like?
Some guy
In the corner of your
with
TV
bug eyes
screen.
like, his eyes are popping out of his head. Like, if I see that come up,
Oh,
I'll be like, hightailing out of here.
I think that's a warning.
Yeah, it's imminent.
That's not just a
Probing
watch.
is imminent.
That's not just a watch.
The conditions are right for a probing. Holy crap.
A probing
I'm
has
out.
been sighted in your area.
I don't want it sighted in my area. We gotta back that off. It's like, holy cow. How did we derail off of this? All right, let's get back to the weather because I do have a story.
All right, back to the weather.
Yeah, good.
Here's Doug back with the weather.
It's hot.
It is still hot.
It will be hot. Greg will bring us a full weather recap in 5 minutes. Jeez. I found this ad when you were saying, actually, you said you were going to talk about the weather, which I'd already bookmarked this ad. FEMA had come out and they have identified, I don't know how they did it because it doesn't say, LA County is the nation's most vulnerable county to heat waves. I don't know why. I don't know why the city is the most vulnerable. I don't know if the sun like really just pummels it. It's like, oh, there's like, it's, giving the weather version of a probing to LA County
Or an elephant stomping.
or elephant stomping. Either one of those. So LA decided they
The sun
needed,
gets stuck for a little bit as it's.
or when it gets there, it just really intensifies, burns it in. It's like that
I would
woman
venture
that
to say
looked
Death
like,
Valley would probably be a little more prone to heat.
I would think so, but apparently not. It's not vulnerable.
It's not vulnerable. It's just hot there all
It's
the
just
time.
hot. But said here, LA, in response to FEMA's identifying them as the nation's most vulnerable, they have announced that they are hiring the first ever chief heat officer. So this is going to get the
I'm
temperature.
Mr. Heat Miser.
Now, if she looked like him and tapped around and sang, that would be all right, kind of fun. Yeah, she's going to make, it didn't say exactly, but 6 figures. All right, she's a government official.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean,
And it says here the official start of summer is just over 2 weeks away. And this is from ABC 7 in L.A. I like how the official start of summer is just over 2 weeks away. So the timing of this announcement is fitting. It's like, well, yeah, what is she going to do? How is she going to make it any cooler at all by just being appointed? What is she going to do that's going to help cool down the entire county?
Well, government
Give
always
'em
has
water.
the answer for everything.
Yeah, her name is Marta Segura, and she's in charge of coordinating the city's response to extreme heat events.
she's going to hire a crop duster full of water, and it's just going to go over the
Maybe.
city and sprinkle
I
everyone.
thought she'd install a giant, like, whole house fan over the whole town. And they could hit it. Ooh. Big air conditioner.
Oh, that was too strong. People are getting sucked up.
So she's currently the director of the Office of Climate Emergency Mobilization. What was she doing there that now she's been appointed the
Maybe she wasn't
chief
involved with
officer?
heat at that point.
Yes.
And then when it turns winter and it's cold, I know LA doesn't get super cold, but are they going to transfer her to the moderate weather czar? Or will she stay? Or will they hire another one for that?
They'll hire another one.
I am the
And she'll
moderate.
continue to work on her.
We're going to have meetings.
Yes.
Moderate weather, heat
Oh,
guy.
yes. Her new role will enable her to work with a number of agencies to prepare a heat action plan. It's like, well, you need to make sure you wear cool, loose-fitting clothing. Yeah, we're going to have a very hot week. Cut all of your pants into shorts. Rip the sleeves off your shirts. Buy ice, lots and lots of ice.
We have a big ocean next to our town that's pretty cool most of the year. You could run out there and jump in it.
Well, it says she's going to do everything from, here we go. She's going to do, this includes everything from an early warning system. So they're going to get the early warning.
Peoria is already on that.
To a long-term strategy to reduce exposure. It's like, what giant umbrellas? What is he going to
Just
do?
one big one over LA.
What giant
I think I watched a show about that, Under the Dome.
Yeah. Says FEMA has identified LA County as the nation's most vulnerable county to heat waves and a number
I bet people in Phoenix
of
would argue
other
that as well.
natural hazards. Well, it doesn't even count them all. It just as and another of other natural hazards. So, but yeah, so I don't know what she's going to do to try to help it be cooler, but they are well on their way to becoming a much cooler county.
Wow.
But when we were younger, and Mike, you might be too young to have encountered this. I don't know. But I remember as a kid, you'd be listening to the radio, and it would always pop up there, and it would say, like, if it's going to be a hot day, they did this whole condition 90.
Yeah.
Condition 90.
I remember
And then
those.
they say, yeah, the conditions today are going to be, temperature's going to be over 90 degrees. Make sure to wear cool, loose-fitting clothing. Drink lots of water. Try to stay in the shade. Work in the, it was basically the same thing, but it was, they did this whole condition 90. Condition 90. Like, I remember as a kid, I'm like, okay, I don't know.
What am I supposed to do?
What am I supposed to do with that?
Because I remember as a kid, it didn't matter. Mom was like, go outside
Oh,
and
yeah,
play.
we were outside.
Yeah.
Didn't matter how hot it was.
There's a water hose.
Yeah.
You need a drink. Turn that thing, and it'd be hot for the first 3 minutes.
Oh, you got to let it run. You can't just take that first sip. You got to let it run for a little bit. Usually you squirt your brother with it.
Oh, of course. Of
At
course.
first.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as a kid, the things that you try to do to stay cool is, of course, we would have popsicles.
Oh, yeah.
Or pop ice.
Yeah.
You got to tear the little plastic. That was always some of the worst part, trying to rip the plastic open so you could squeeze the pop ice out.
I like to wait till it melted so you could drink the juice from it.
I would too. I'd hold on to it with my hands to get some juice in there. Now, what was your favorite flavor of the pop ice?
Of Popeyes,
Because they had like
grape.
what, red, grape, green, which was lime, I guess.
Jeez.
See, mine was blue.
I would say I like blue.
I don't even know what flavor
grape.
that was. Grape
Blue
was good.
raspberry, probably.
There was orange.
Yeah.
See, with those, I like them all. Honestly, that I could go for any. Honestly, like if you just handed me one, I would just have.
See, I had a very
have it.
discriminating taste with
Yeah.
the Popeyes. I could rank them. Blue was number one by
I did like
for
it.
sure.
I did like
and
it.
Grape was my
grape
favorite.
was good too. That was probably my second.
Yeah. See, I'd
Followed
probably
by
flip those.
red, and then followed by orange, and then green. It's like I'll drink I'll eat the green.
As
I
a
guess.
kid, I could probably, I would have had any of them. Now, maybe not so much.
Yeah.
I have a
Yeah.
preference, but
Yeah.
Or popsicles. We had my mom. I think it was Tupperware, but had the popsicle forms. I don't know.
Yeah,
the
we had 'em.
plastic
We had
form.
those.
You could mix up like
Kool-Aid.
A Kool-Aid. You pour it in there, and then you'd snap the lids on. The lids had a plastic stick
Yep.
that would go into them, and you freeze them, and you pull them out, and then you'd have homemade popsicles.
Yep.
I loved those as a kid.
Then
We
you
get in
had-
trouble because we'd chew on the plastic stick. Mom would get mad. We'd get in trouble.
Now in the country, did you ever get the ice cream truck?
Never had the ice
See,
cream
we had
truck.
the ice cream truck in town.
Never.
That was always fun.
You ever notice too that like we have an ice cream truck in our neighborhood now? It looks like it's just some homemade van. Some guy has a white van painted, and they cut like a window out of the
They
side.
teach the kids to stay away from the white
Well,
vans,
yeah.
and this guy's driving around.
You run up there, it's like, oh, what were you? Can I help you? It's like, well, I was thinking about getting an ice cream, but apparently I'm going to get tetanus and possibly abducted and assaulted.
Weren't you the carnival operator at the pumpkin festival last year? Yeah, kid.
Yeah, so we didn't really have the ice cream truck, so I didn't.
Yeah,
really,
we had the ice cream truck.
What did you have a go-to? See, I didn't have the ice
Drumsticks.
cream. Drumsticks.
Yeah.
What was the red, white, and blue?
The bomb pop.
The bomb pop.
Yeah.
I remember seeing
Ooh,
those.
I don't
as
know, can I
kids.
say that?
Yeah, the
Bomb
bomb pop.
Bomb. I didn't know if I could say that.
Well, you've said it like 18 times now, so
That's like the AR-15 pop.
see,
Too much. I know.
that was over.
well, so we didn't have the ice cream truck, but we had the Swans, or what was it? Schwans?
Schwans, yeah.
And we would get like the little cups of
Oh,
ice
what,
cream.
Dixie
That's like
cups.
the expensive home or
I
ice
can't say
cream
that
man.
either.
Yeah. Or like the push pops too. Those were good.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you can do. But yeah, we had that. We had those. We had a pool one year. We had an aunt and uncle that moved from their house into an apartment. My uncle had bad arthritis, so they had to move to like a one level. And they were getting rid of their pool, so they gave it to us. So we went and picked it up and put it up. We had it one year, and my dad, at the end of the year, he drained it, rolled it up, put it into the driveway, and put free. We were just devastated. No.
How deep was it?
Like a 4 foot or 3.5 foot. I mean,
We had one for a couple summers when I was a kid. I think it was only like 3 feet though.
but we're like, oh no. And my dad's like, it is way too much work and way too expensive. I'm not going to do this.
Yeah.
Because you'd have to shock it and
just
buy chlorine and
Just hose your brother off.
yeah. But if you didn't have that, you had the sprinkler.
Yeah. My kids would put the sprinkler underneath the trampoline and it would squirt up through the
Oh, so
trampoline.
we didn't have a trampoline.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah, slip and slide.
Slip and slide's fun. Although you run and go to slide, it's like, ah!
See, I have slip and slide down here, but my thought on that, I think that is a toy that, or a activity or device, I don't know what you want to call it, but it sounds great in principle. I think it loses something on the application though, because I've had friends and cousins that had them. We would do that, and every time you'd slide, the little bitty tiny stakes would pull up, they'd roll over. It was never like the commercial where the kid would take off and slide 40 feet. It's like, or you'd hit a dry patch. It was just like,
Or it would get really wet and you would slide through the fence in the backyard.
yeah. And we still liked it. I feel like it was something that it didn't live up to the commercial to me. And
Yeah.
maybe,
I say ours
maybe
was-
having 9-year-olds put it up and run it probably wasn't the best thing to do. I don't know. That might have been part of our problem.
Yeah.
Ours was nice. We had like a I don't know, like an arch or two, I think, over the top that would just dump water on it constantly.
We had the old school, just
Yeah.
the plastic piece
And
of
ours had like an ending where it had
Pulled
like
up.
a pool,
Oh,
like kind of at
yeah.
the end. You could
Ours was just long, flat.
Splash.
That was
and
it.
it would be mud.
Yeah. You get a little squirt of water coming from the sides.
Yeah, it wasn't much. So maybe the newer ones were better.
Yeah.
This was from the late 70s, early 80s for me, and it was just not the same.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And as far like public pool, we never went to a public pool.
Yeah,
so
we did.
Yeah.
We did.
Well, speaking
I'm
of public
not a big
pools,
fan
they
of public
they had
pools
the
anymore.
swim lessons. Did you ever do swim lessons?
I did do swim lessons actually.
Yeah. Do you remember in Peoria they had swim lessons? Well, I found the commercial they used to advertise
With
their
fish.
swim
Yeah,
lessons
it was what was
with
his name?
fish.
Oh, was it actually just fish? Is that what
Well,
it's
yeah,
called?
Swimming
give
with
it a
fish.
listen. And
Was it a blue fish as the
There's
mascot?
a
or is
blue
it-
orange, too.
there's a blue
Orange.
and an orange.
Yeah.
And it's all.
Well, the water is fine, so come on in.
We'd like to, but we cannot swim.
What do you mean you can't swim? Hey, stop that mess and get down to the pool and start your lessons. Gotta get with Gus and go.
Learning to swim is a life preserver, and you can sign up for swim lessons at Peoria Park District Pools and the Riverplex. Swim classes start next week, so register today.
Swimming like fish, like flamingo.
See,
So
now
was that just a local thing, or I wonder if that was everywhere and they just put the Peoria stuff over the top of
I
that?
think it was just local.
It might have been. I don't know.
This one must have been a little newer because they said the Riverplex,
Oh, yeah,
which
that
wasn't
was.
there back in the 80s and
No, it
90s.
was not.
But I remember hearing that
Yeah, I
song
did
back in
too.
the 80s and 90s.
You're
Cool.
swimming with Golden Gus.
Yeah, that takes me back to my childhood. Like that.
Yeah. Hearing that commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty nostalgic.
Yep.
Yeah, that was we didn't go to public pools. We went and took swim lessons and learned how to swim.
Yeah.
But
I went and took
other
swim lessons. I'm not so sure I learned how to swim.
than that, I'm
but-
not a great swimmer. I'm not a strong swimmer.
No.
I can swim, but
I almost
wouldn't wanna
drowned
have to.
myself trying to do a somersault in a pool last year. In Florida. They're all standing around. They don't know I'm drowning in the pool, but I almost drowned.
Did you
And
hit your
you want to
head or-
be in an alien
No.
circus.
No,
I don't see this going well for Greg at the alien circus.
As long as I have to do flips, I'm okay.
We don't know what you're going to have to do.
Well, we were in the pool down there last summer in Florida, and I'm going to see if I can still do a somersault. I did one, but I didn't come out. I could not figure out where I was when I came out
that's
of it.
right.
It's like
Yeah.
I couldn't touch the top. I couldn't touch the bottom. I'm like panicking. I'm like, I'm going to drown. I
To make
can't-
matters worse, it was a kiddie pool. I mean, it was. It's
No,
not,
it was a full size. It was like, but it was only 5 foot deep. I mean, but I couldn't touch the bottom, and it was so weird. And then I'm flailing around with my hands, and finally my pinky touched the wall. I'm like, okay, there's a wall. So I'm like, scram, pull out of the pool. Oh, I could have drowned right there in the backyard with everybody there. See, I got a little vertigo when I flipped over. It was like, oh, I can't do this anymore.
Nope.
So no more spinning around in the pool. But you see, I still do have high dive skills.
Yes, the high dive skill. From the man who's supposedly afraid of heights.
Oh,
All right. Well, I think, did you guys have anything else? That's all I really had about. So,
that's really all I had on the weather.
all right. Well, Mike, you got a couple
So to
things.
summarize with the weather, it's still hot out.
We're going to recap it at the end of this podcast. So stay tuned
Yeah.
to find
You
out.
did there, Greg. Summarize.
Yeah. I'll give you the extended forecast.
All right. Yeah, we got a couple stories here. These are pretty wild, to say the least. Don't know if you've heard about it by now, but there was kind of a big story going around about Geico having to pay a woman, hey, look at this number, $5.2 million.
Wow. That is amazing.
That's crazy.
Wow. That must have been a bad accident.
I know.
Was anybody killed?
Well, no,
Was an elephant involved?
not quite. Any other guesses, maybe, as to what happened?
No.
Alien probing?
There was some kind of
Some
probing.
going.
So a woman caught HPV as an STD with
That's too many acronyms for me.
her boyfriend at the time in his car as they were
Yeah.
yeah yeah. So how did it
Dancing by the dashboard light.
There we go. So how did it come to the point where Geico had to pay the woman? So this is kind of a runaround story here. This happened in Missouri, and kind of as a backstory here.
See, right there. I figured Florida when I
Oh,
heard
well.
this. I was like,
Yeah, this story does kind of have the hallmarks of a Florida man / Florida woman story. It says the Missouri Court of Appeals is siding with the woman who won a $5.2 million award against Geico, and in a case that centers on a unique auto claim. The STD she received or was transmitted in a Hyundai sedan whose owner was insured by Geico. The woman, identified in court papers as M.O., The man is identified as MB, infected her with HPV when they had unprotected relations in his 2014 Hyundai Genesis. She says the man was negligent and did not tell her about his diagnosis, despite having a throat cancer tumor that was confirmed to be positive for HPV. Geico had told the woman, and its auto insurance coverage did not apply because the damages claimed did not arise out of normal use of the vehicle. So you might want to check your coverage, maybe, to see what you're covered for and what you're not covered for.
Well, undoubtedly they determined it was normal use.
If the vans are rocking.
Yeah. So you might want to call and see, what you are covered and what you're not covered for.
Yeah. Is that a special rider they have to get for that? Or
Maybe.
How much for the STD rider? I'd like to add that one on. So if she got pregnant and had the baby, are they on the hook for paternity costs and stuff? Like, hey, you got to pay the cost for this kid now.
Maybe. It says
think so.
The encounter took place late in 2017. Because the car was insured by Geico at the time, the woman says the company is obligated to compensate her for contracting HPV from its owner in the vehicle. She cited medical expenses and her pain and suffering. So they signed an arbitration agreement, the woman and the defendant, back in March of 2021, and they basically had agreed to settle their dispute. Well, about 2 months later, an arbitrator actually awarded the woman the $5.2 million, saying the sum would fairly and justly compensate her. So the woman went to circuit court in Missouri to enforce the ruling and won her case, and Geico is appealing to a higher state court. So Geico is basically saying it did not have a chance to defend itself, and it violated its constitutional rights to due process and access to the courts. But in a ruling this week, this would have been, I think, 2 weeks maybe ago now. Where was that? 2 judges in the Missouri Court of Appeals, the Western District, said Geico had numerous chances to act on its own behalf, and the judge noted that the woman initially submitted a claim to Geico more than a year ago. So the woman had previously sent Geico all a copy of the lawsuit and the file and everything about that. At the time, she offered to settle the claim for $1 million. A third judge on the appeals court or panel concurred with the court's ruling, but said Geico had not been given a meaningful opportunity to participate in the suit. So basically, as of now, Geico is going to go ahead and fight this, I guess, in federal court. But yeah, it's not too often you make a claim based on getting STD in your car.
Yeah. Did she have to go to the police station and fill out an accident report?
Maybe. I don't know.
Well, I think what caused it all, she originally said that she was rear-ended. And then they said, oh, and then they found out what happened. Like, oh, wait a minute. That's not what we meant.
It was a good thing it was Geico and not Farmers, because if Farmers would do that commercial then,
yeah,
we know a lot because we've seen a lot.
We've covered it.
Hey, that's right. We
could have been all Farmers with mayhem.
Oh,
yeah.
I still don't see how they're saying this is Geico's fault. It's like, unless the car didn't assault her.
No.
The guy that owned the car did this.
Yeah, so
Geico had nothing to do with this.
It says basically the woman says Geico acted in bad faith, refusing to defend the man who owns the car, despite multiple requests, and refusing to settle her claims. She says the man was insured against his personal liability arising from his negligence in actions involving his automobile. And that then makes Geico responsible.
Because it really has nothing to do with the car.
The vehicle. No, was he driving the vehicle during this? No, maybe.
The airbags deployed?
Well, something deployed. I mean, at some point you have a little personal responsibility. Don't you?
No, you don't.
Like it should be thrown out. In my opinion, like we're done. This should be thrown out.
It says the federal case is set for a jury trial, which is slated to begin in the Kansas City courtroom in October.
All right, well there you go.
Wow. Crazy.
So you may want to check your
insurance.
Yeah, check your coverage.
Oh man. Well, the next story, I don't know
he
if
said
this
he had a rider.
Well, he did. Yeah.
This next story here, I don't know if this is weirder or not than
it's
the
weird.
first one.
Weirder. Maybe not.
They're both kind of strange. This one is titled from Business, I think, or just Insider. I guess it's just Insider. Sexy Swedish garbage cans seductively encourage citizens to properly toss their trash.
Now, see, I'm going to stop right there for a second, because when they say that, and they have a picture, I wouldn't say that the garbage can is sexy. Maybe it talks sexy, but the garbage can itself is just
looking.
a garbage can.
It's a garbage
right?
can.
Pretty soon that'll influence a Halloween costume. Sexy garbage can.
I'm sure that'll be this year's number one.
Yeah.
See, I think they're just getting ready for robots. These are AI. They look like robots.
Oh.
They're prepping the robots to be talked to seductively.
I've got several robot stories we may have to get into in an episode or two from now, so I don't know. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I would say we'll take a leap here. It says, this is actually in the Swedish city of Malmo. Some trash cans are programmed with sultry audio messages.
I like sultry.
Yes, very sultry. The cans respond with words of encouragement when given garbage, and the city officials say it is meant to discourage littering.
You'll have a homeless guy sitting next to it with a candle on top of it and a couple glasses of wine from a box.
It says basically this is part of a campaign to get people to, not litter, all that stuff. I thought it was funny, kind of what some of the phrases of encouragement are from the garbage cans. It has a couple of examples. They basically say lines like, and I quote,
"Yes,
come back quickly and do that again." Oh yeah, right there. That was crazy good.
I don't want to associate garbage with sexy, do you?
No.
Like putting in his bedroom just keeps opening the lid. Boom.
See, I would walk up, get ready to throw my trash in, and it would say, "Not tonight, I have a headache." So I couldn't put my trash in.
Oh my gosh.
That or pretty soon, every time you throw something away, you're getting all horny. Oh man, this isn't good. I'm turned on now. What happened? I threw my pizza box away.
Yeah, Greg, you had a line before this. What was it? Dirty talk or something?
Yeah.
Talking trash?
No, talking
this
trash.
kind of gives meaning to talking trash.
We're talking dirty.
Yeah. This had kind of prompted me to think, what other aspects of society maybe could we apply this same sort of logic to? Greg, I thought maybe you had a good one earlier.
What was that? Toilets. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want sexy toilets either. Don't need that.
Talks to you when you walk in.
Well, they've got the what was the one? The smart toilets. Didn't we do a story about that?
We
maybe?
did do the smart toilet.
So
Mike's shower says, "Come on, big boy, let's have a beer."
it's very inviting, I must say. I had one. Maybe gas stations. When you pump gas, that might work. I mean, we're getting screwed anyway at the gas station.
It's already like paying a prostitute, so
yeah. So it fits in nicely, at least.
I forgot it's almost, you need a pimp, like, hey, you need shaking you down. You got to pay. Pay that. We're just going to drive off. We provided a service.
You got to do it. You're just like, I just want regular. It's like, give me premium.
The gas station's like, yeah. Oh, yeah, pump it, baby. Pump that gas. Like, no, don't do this. Don't do this.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's way different. Like I said at the beginning, when in the 80s they had the sexy the Swedish bikini team.
Yeah.
Again, I have no idea. It was nothing. It was a beer promotion. They had the different calendars or posters or something, but they were the Swedish bikini team.
Yep.
So we went from that to now we'll have the posters of the sexy Swedish garbage can.
The calendar.
Ooh, I love May. Look at May. That's my favorite one.
I love those round trash cans.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, this is going to cause some weird freaks out there to do
That's the name of the calendar. Great cans.
Sexy cans.
Well, and pretty soon there will be a what's that swimsuit edition? Like the
Sports Illustrated.
Sports Illustrated. Yeah, there'll be garbage cans for that.
for the guys that deliver trash. It'll be in there in the shop. That's the Menards aluminum.
Oh my gosh, this is terrible. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I don't know where, I don't know,
we don't,
where
not
that
everything
ends,
needs
but-
to be sexy.
See, I'm concerned now because like our cat trash can in our kitchen.
It's coming
is one
on
of
to
those, No, it's one of those. I'll be
I
getting rid
swear
of
I
it.
heard it the other day.
But it's it worries me because, it's one of those automatic ones when you walk by, if your hand goes across the top, it like opens up automatically.
Oh, I bet it pops up for you.
It could be. Put some voices in that thing.
So, yeah, that's, I don't know. You don't need everything sexy.
No.
Although I take the sexy garbage can over the sexy toilet. I don't want the sexy toilet. And you like to make no noise at all in the bathroom, so the sexy toilet will be a real problem for you.
Yeah. Shh. Quiet.
Not now. Quiet. Your wife's going to think you're cheating in there in the bathroom. You're just talking to the toilet. Oh, my gosh.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
I think that's it. That'll wrap it up. And we got one last recap. It is going to be hot tomorrow. Hot
Yes.
Friday. We have a little bit of a break, and then close to 100 or maybe over 100 next week. So
some more hot.
yes, make sure you wear cool, loose-fitting clothing. Stay in the shade. Drink plenty of fluids. Don't leave those dogs in the cars. Oh, and maybe check for your kids, too.
Yes.
But
Maybe.
mostly the pets.
If you have time.
We are issuing
mostly
a first
the pets.
alert weather days for the next 2 days.
For the next 2
That's
days.
what we're issuing that. I don't know if the local news is. I'm
there
sure
you
they
go.
are. But
All right. Well, hey, thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you do like the show, please give us a 5-star rating, review, hit the share button, put it out there for other people to listen.
we'll take a 4-star too.
Yeah, I'm going 5. 5-star. If you give us a 5-star rating, we'll talk sexy to you.
That's right.
Not as sexy as the garbage cans, but
We'll do
we
our
try.
best. We'll do our best.
For us.
Yeah.
And other than that, we hope you tune in 7 days. Till then, see ya.
Later. Peace.
Well, that wraps up another episode. Thanks for listening. Please be sure to subscribe, and you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.